His execution confirmed beyond dispute the early eyewitness reports too immediate to be dismissed as a legend, and the resurrection accounts too widespread to be explained away. After nearly 2 years of chasing every objection and pulling at every loose thread, Lee Strobel finally reached the unavoidable conclusion. Welcome to the No Fools Podcast. In 1979, Lee Strobel, a Yale-trained lawyer, was working as a journalist at the Chicago Tribune. He was also a self-declared atheist. His life was built on facts, evidence, and the kind of hard proof you could cross-examine in court. Things seemed to be progressing exceptionally well for him until the day that his wife came home with the news no atheist husband ever wants to hear: "I've become a Christian." He bristled at the thought, fearing she'd start judging him, reshaping their home, demanding that he go to church, and even teaching their children that their father was wrong. At one point, his wife approached him feeling led to tithe money at the church she was attending. His response: "I've got a better idea. Why don't you take that money and flush it down the toilet, because it'll have the same effect." That's what she was up against, said Strobel. For the first time in their seemingly perfect marriage, the Strobel household was at odds. He was furious, convinced his best friend had been pulled into a cult. And so the lawyer in him formed a plan. If I can disprove Christianity, I can rescue my wife, restore my marriage, and get my life back on track. This should not take more than a weekend, said Strobel. After all, I went to Yale Law School. What began as a weekend project stretched into nearly 2 years of relentless investigation. Strobel used every tool in his arsenal: his legal reasoning, journalistic instincts, his investigative grit. He dug into libraries, sourced microfilm, called scholars, analyzed ancient texts, and studied the historical evidence surrounding specifically the resurrection of Jesus, because even as an atheist, he understood that everything hinges on the resurrection. If Jesus stayed in the grave, Jesus was a fool, a heretic, and Christianity collapses. But if he got up, the world has changed forever, and we are fools not to believe him. Over time, Strobel began to view Christianity more like the punching clown from his childhood. He'd hit it with an objection, but every hit bounced back with an answer. Every argument met with evidence. He found himself stunned, face to face with history that he could not dismiss. Eyewitness testimony, early creeds passed within months of the crucifixion, accounts inside and outside the Bible attesting to his death, the very weight of history bearing down on one simple yet staggering question: what if it's true? After nearly 2 years of chasing every objection and pulling at every loose thread, Lee Strobel finally reached the unavoidable conclusion: Jesus was exactly who he claimed to be. The evidence that once seemed fragile proved stubbornly strong. His execution confirmed beyond dispute the early eyewitness reports too immediate to be dismissed as a legend, and the resurrection accounts too widespread to be explained away. Strobel realized this was not mythology or wishful thinking, it was history, and in that moment, the man who set out to disprove Christianity surrendered to the risen Christ, acknowledging that Jesus truly is the Son of God, alive and reigning just as he promised. Thankfully, that journey would not stay hidden in his private notebooks. The deeper Strobel went, the more he realized others were wrestling with the same doubts and the same skepticism he was. So he retraced his investigation, formalized the interviews, and compiled the evidence into his best-selling book, The Case for Christ. What began as one man's quest to disprove Christianity for fun became a journalist and Yale Law School graduate's courtroom presentation for the resurrection. His personal search became a testimony that helped others discover faith for themselves, and he now proclaims the very gospel he once mocked.
I have heard his story several times, and it doesn't get old, because you have this like staunch skeptic,
yes,
angrily skeptical.
Yes.
Wife comes to Christ, and he's like, I've seen the movie too, right? And now he's like all over college campuses,
yep,
all over the public square, sharing about Jesus Christ and that story.